All right. Didn't even check the time, but it's got to be midnight or later. Leaving from the AMC, Mobile, Alabama. Caught the 10 o'clock showing of Death of a Unicorn. And now it's time for the initial thoughts as we make our way home. Won't be home until 1 a.m. Okay. First things first. I literally just got finished watching the movie, and this is crazy. This movie was crazy, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm still gonna ask it. The question in my title of this: why did I watch this crazy movie? Because this is why I watch movies, I guess, for the experience of coming down here and saying, how crazy was that movie? I enjoyed it, first things first. I thought the first time I saw the trailer, A24, nah, you guys have burned me way too many times now. And I haven't even watched very many A24 movies. It's just become such a common thing that they make bizarro, weird movies that leave you scratching your head. Don't even get me started about The Green Knight. I'm going to make a rip it to shreds video one day about my theatrical experience with that horrendous movie. And yes, I know it's got some good parts. It should be this great thing. People say, oh, it's going to have a cult following. Oh, it's going to have a great cult following. It's going to have a niche audience. It's actually it's a secret king of a movie. It's really great. You just got to understand it. No, I know what's good about it, and I know exactly what ruined it. Anyway, I'm not talking about The Green Knight. We're talking about Death of a Unicorn. Okay. I enjoyed it. I was transfixed, thoroughly entertained from beginning to end. You know from the trailer that Paul Rudd and what must be his daughter, and obviously Jenna Ortega did play his daughter in this movie. And is it just me, or is she not just gorgeous, just beautiful, Jenna Ortega? And you know what, from now on, for the rest of this review, we'll just call her the beautiful Jenna Ortega, just to cover my bases properly, because wow, except for that nose ring, that was horrendous. But she carried this movie as the virtuous maiden, which is what you see from these medieval paintings and these tapestry deals, or whatever they were called in the film, that she researched online and was piecing together like a puzzle what these unicorns were really about, and what they can expect, and how they can deal with the situation to survive, even though survival wasn't the the thing right off the get-go. It ended up being survive or get run through by a unicorn, and there was some kind of gore. There was some gore in this movie, but it's an interesting little case study in greed and a lust for power, prestige, money, wealth, again, power, on display. It's a good case study of that, to watch this family. I'm not gonna get anybody's name correct, because I just watched the movie and I'm still just kind of reeling from it, because it's like that ending. I'm like, okay, it makes sense. I kind of saw this happening, but no, now we're doing this, and now this is happening, and oh well, what an interesting ending. I'm satisfied if they had done it either way. And really, I'll talk about that more when I actually do my sit-down review, which might be tomorrow. I might just give myself, I might sleep on it and then come back and finish this review in the morning. That's what I should do. But yeah, it's a good case study of watching a family of really, well, they're evil. This family was evil. That's all you can say about it. Their lust for their money and power to be number one, and to have what they thought was going to be the cure for cancer and all this stuff. Acting was, especially from, again, I'll get his name right tomorrow when I do my review, but the father, who was like the head of the company or whatever, I started to think about Prometheus at one point, just for a couple minutes during this movie, as I watched him, how he was suffering, and he knew he was likely dying not long for this world, whatever leukemia, whatever he had, that he was on oxygen and stuff, and just not doing very well at all, probably dying. I got to thinking about a review that I watched by none other than Zaran Isaac when he talked about Prometheus, and he said something about the movie Prometheus that, if you thought about it, maybe you're like me, your brain didn't just come right out and say it to you. But he said this movie Prometheus, and again, I know this is a side tangent. I'm talking about Death of Unicorn here, but I started to think about this when I looked at this character in this movie. Zaran Isaac said this movie Prometheus, which made back in 2009, this whole thing is a story about, it's not really about aliens or a space adventure, a sci-fi classy horror movie, whatever. This is a story about a man who's very old and he knows he's dying and he wants to go on living, but he happens to be very powerful, very, very, very rich in his futuristic billionaire, trillionaire, whatever the status of that time in that fictional universe is. And he's willing to risk all kinds of people's lives in order to try and find what he thinks will be the cure for his body, since it only makes sense. You see in that movie Prometheus, well, why did I come here? Well, if these engineers made us, well then they're the ones who can fix us, who can cure us, who can make sure we go on living. It only makes logical sense, right? And so when Zaran Isaac said that, I'm like, you know what? I didn't think of it explicitly like that, but you're absolutely right. When you boil it down to its simplest plot, its simplest elements, this is a story about an old rich man who doesn't want to die. One sentence. That's what this movie Prometheus is about. And I got to thinking about what is his name? Please don't tell. Wayland. Yeah, Wayland from Prometheus. As I looked at this old man in Death of Unicorn, I thought, as they're discovering that the blood of these unicorns, their body is able to regenerate human beings, human bodies diseased on a cellular level, so that they recover from all their ailments and their cancer. And you see Jenna Ortega's acne go away, and Paul Rudd's allergies disappear. It's like a fountain of youth kind of thing, almost. But one thing that I thought for sure was going to happen is that surely it's going to go bad in humans or anything else that's not a unicorn. Surely we're going to see this old man who is being cured of his cancer, and he's throwing away his walker, his cane, because he doesn't need it anymore. And he's got that young, vigorous, now I'm really going to go conquer the world like an evil guy look in his eyes. Yeah, I'm getting a call here, but I'm going to ignore it for a second while I get this thought out. I thought for sure it was going to go bad, and you're going to see him melt or something like Senator what's-his-name in X-Men melting into water on that table or something. Okay, now I'm actually back home. Welcome back, folks. I took that call. Well, actually, I think the call booted me, and so that recording ended. But I'm home in my room, and yep, Death of a Unicorn, 10 o'clock showing as usual. You can't even read it because it's barely on there. If someone at the movie theater, an attendant, wanted proof that I was supposed to be in Theater 7, seat K8, the letter K and the number 8 designation, that's all they could see, granted. But everything else, I don't want to give them that, but at least that much is printed clearly on there. All the other details, you can barely see it. It's barely on there. Barely any ink. Just a miserable little thing. Got to change that. Got to do better. Okay, let me start at the beginning with this movie and why I went to see it. Shorthand, I went to see it because I wanted to see it. I was curious enough about it, and AMC in Mobile is this is going to be the last week. It's only like a 10 o'clock showing at night for the rest of the way with the Death of Unicorn, because it's been out for a little while now. In fact, let me check first showing and see when it actually was released. I know I saw the trailer quite a little while ago, and I just remember thinking A24, because that's all I could see in my mind. A24. Like, man, I've seen movies from them that are just, uh, and things that were so bizarre, like that Tusk movie or whatever that Kevin Smith thing was. It's like, it's so bizarre. I can't even go there. And then I went to see The Green Knight, not realizing that it was uh, A24. And okay, so it came out on March 28th. Huh. That's not good. Well, you know what? Let me check the show times, and because even though AMC is almost done with it in Mobile, there are other theaters. Let me check my other go-to. Let me check the Grand Santikos in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Let me see what their show time is going to be like. And I'm only checking this just to just confirm that I came in under the wire a little bit with this movie. Okay, see, like tomorrow. Let me show you this so you can see exactly what I'm looking at. If you care, maybe you don't care, but I like to, instead of talking to myself and looking at this, let me actually show you what I'm looking at so you can actually look at this website with me. The Grand in Hattiesburg. Um, Death of a Unicorn isn't going to be there. The Amateur and Drop came out this weekend. So did King of Kings and Warfare. There are several new movies, but yeah, Captain America has been there forever, and Disney So White, who I think that came out before. Yeah, it came out before. Uh, it came out the week before Death of Unicorn, but Death of Unicorn is being squeezed out. Ain't that something? Ain't that nothing? I should say. Anyways, yeah, I actually did. I just got to say it. I liked the flick. I enjoyed it, and that's why I'm saying I liked it. Let me get cozy here. Let me get comfy. Why did I see this crazy movie? I really want to. I really want to talk about just that one thing for a second, because I drove an hour and then an hour back. I love going to the movies. What can I say? I didn't have high hopes for this. Is why I'm talking like this. It's because I did enjoy it when I really wasn't expecting it to be as as good as I consider it to have been. And I guess I'm just kind of pleasantly surprised with it by how much I enjoyed it, even though it was another movie. And I've been watching so many movies lately that are just filled with such bizarre characters. These thrillers, I've been watching a couple of horror movies. Jenna Ortega, the other characters with her in this movie, a couple of moments were almost as bizarre and quirky and just so odd as like in Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. It's like, what? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have said the beautiful Jenna Ortega. Forgive me. Should have said that. I really should have, except for the nose ring. Um, I just, I was just so entertained by this, and I guess it's just my love of being in the theater. I was literally in the center of the movie theater. Nobody else with me tonight. It was great. Not that I want it to always be that way. I got a kick out of watching Minecraft with a bunch of rowdy kids. Well, not too rowdy. Not like some of these crazy videos you've been seeing of them throwing popcorn and junk, but just rambunctious, a couple of kids, and there was a lot of people in there. That was fun. But this, to satisfy my curiosity of a movie that's not going to be there any longer after this week, and is already gone from Santikos, like we just saw, I was like, this was a great theater to go and experience. I really enjoyed myself, and it just got right to it as far as what plot there is in this. She's driving to, well, not driving. Oh man, that I laughed out loud at what happened on the plane. Like, spoilers. Let me, in case you haven't seen the movie, I'll put my spoiler alert, my two different slides up in the front of this video. Sorry. They're on the plane. She's on the plane with Paul Rudd, her father, and the guy comes up. The pilot literally comes over the intercom saying, ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you that being told that the aircraft staircase uh, almost sounding. I guess What am I channeling? Elon Musk here? I can't help it. I'm kind of sick. My sinuses back in my throat kind of messed up. Our staircase doesn't actually fit our aircraft, and I kid you not, the intercom guy says, I'm gonna take just a moment to figure out exactly what that means. I'm afraid I don't know what that means myself. I'm getting it wrong, but he said something like that. And I just thought, imagine if you heard that, like, and I'm not even sure what that even means, folks. They got the wrong staircase. It doesn't fit our aircraft. What? And so then the next scene you see is 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 of them driving in a car. They're going. They're going to be driving to where they got to get to now, and that's it. Just goes from there. And I'll tell you one thing: it was a neat scene, the way you see Ortega's character, right, Ridley. You get kind of tired looking out the window, and she rests her head on her dad's shoulder, and it's a neat kind of a thing because I immediately got the sense that he drops his paper because the flight attendant walks by him. He's like, oh great, he can't get the papers without letting his daughter either wake up when he just wanted to rest his head on her head and just kind of doze off. Plane's about to start, then the engine starts screaming. He's trying to get his papers, and it's kind of a cute thing because it's like he wants to just let his daughter sleep on his arm for a few minutes, and you just got the feeling like, oh, maybe he doesn't get very many moments like this. That's just a thought that came into my head. I'm like, and it was correct. That was exactly the sentiment that the movie was trying to give off, and it gave it. But in the end, he ends up letting her drop. She hits her head, and I'm like, oh. And of course, the first profanity when she says, "What the f?" Like, oh, I'm sorry, I had to get these papers over here. And you just got got the sense that he's trying to bond with his daughter, and maybe it doesn't always work out. That thought just came back to me again and again throughout the first half of the movie. And I'll tell you this, I was getting tired of Paul Rudd's character, man. I was like, he is every bit as impossible as this evil money and power obsessed family he's trying to go to work for so he can secure his financial future for him and his daughter. And I'm like, dude, give it up, give it a rest. Stop trying to be a doormat for these evil people. And they're so crazy and evil and just almost like super villains at some points in the movie. Let me read off some cast members here, and let me show you. I love doing this. Let me stop screen and let me show you the IMDb page. We're going to get into a few cast members here. Let's go. Let me see. What do we do? I want the full thing. Come on, show it to me. IMDb. There we go. Okay. Scroll down. Is this showing properly? Yes, it is. Okay. Here we go. Who played the old guy? Richard E. Grant. He's the main guy I'm thinking of in terms of as soon as he got to feeling better when he got that unicorn blood in him. He was just his evil was on steroids at that point. I liked his character. He was a neat crazy old guy who wanted to live and get back to his heyday of being I'm not going to call him an industrial titan. It's whatever he does. He wants to rule the world or whatever. I'm not seeing any familiar things that I've seen him in, but there's something about him that whenever an actor or actress, especially actor, somehow whenever they portray a certain character or get a certain look down in a movie, you just feel like you've seen them before. And it's because of their craft. They're living up to it. And it's just a remarkable thing. I feel like I've seen him before. I don't think I have, though. William Porter as Shepard. My goodness. This guy was a card. And he really can act. I give him that. Tia Leone as Belinda. She was something else, too. And there's a scene at the end of the movie right before she dies when I was thinking maybe just maybe, she still has her a little bit of her soul left. Maybe, I don't know. One more honorable mention here. This lady who played a scientist, and people have already started being killed. Look at that. I can't believe I recognize her. I thought, have I seen her somewhere? I have seen her in this stinking crazy Turn Down for What music video. Oh my goodness. Her name is Sunita Mani, and she was in this as the scientist lady, and her death really in the movie really rang home the that realization in the movie, where you realize, okay, nothing is as it seems. We don't really know the rules of this situation, because yeah, the unicorns had shown up and they had killed some people already, but when she died, you're like, oh great, how do you escape this situation? What are we going to do? How are we going to deal with these unicorns? I'm going to see if I can't watch a little bit of the video they show you here. They never really got down to the you see Ortega, and I think you even see Paul Rudd, maybe another character, look up at the sky, and you see this uh, aurora borealis looking. It's a unicorn sky basically, and they never really explain that very much in the movie. They never really say what's causing that, other than the obvious uh, inference that you make that it's unicorn activity. Oh my goodness, when that guy died, when that scientist died like that, I thought, oh man, this is, it just got real. It just went complete horror mode. But the thing about this movie is it goes back and forth, and I don't really consider it a full on. I don't. This is you know what? This is where the A24 comes in, as far as how this studio rolls. And I can't believe I'm giving them credit, but they're just so. It's an unexpected thing, and the thing is, spit it out, David. What I'm trying to say is, where they go with this movie in the end, it yeah, it's a horror, but it's not at the same time. It's interesting the way it ends, and A24, there it is. And I can't believe this. I'm going to watch another A24 tomorrow, Lord willing. I'll be at Santikos in Hattiesburg, and I'll watch Warfare and see what that's about. But yeah, they get going with the movie right off the bat, as far as they're having their back and forth. Ortega's character, Ridley, and her dad. Uh, Let me get his name right, Elliot. And he's in this zone the whole movie until almost right at the end. He gets 5 minutes at the end where he's not this. I'm doing what I got to do to to seal this deal for our future. And he's like, he's willing to do anything. He's basically selling his soul. You see the camera pan over to him so many times throughout this movie. He's like, okay, is he still on board with what these crazy people, this family wants to do in trying to harvest these unicorn creatures for every drop of blood that they can get, every ounce of all the power, all the money that they can get out of this. But yeah, and time and time again, and Ortega looks at him again and again and again, like, are you really doing this? Are you? And and every time he's like, well, yeah, of course, I'll be your, of course, I'm your Huckleberry. I'm your boy Friday. I'm your boy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Uh, gonna go into work for this family. And this guy, this is the first time I've actually seen anything with Will Porter in it as Shepard. I didn't see, for instance, what was he in? Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That would have been something that I saw him in, but I didn't watch that movie on principle. That's a whole other video. I'll get into it at a later date. Count on it. But yeah, he he was such a card. He he was his father's son, and he was his mother's son. That's all I can say for the character of Shepard in this movie. And when you get to the scene as they're having their back and forth, like she's just like in the trailer saying, "Okay, fine, I'll just be your 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 foil or whatever. I'll be the put upon daughter. I'll pretend like I'm having fun while you do your job or whatever. And you can see she's done this before. She's been through this rigmarole before as he's trying to hammer down something, some job, some assignment, some payday, some prestige that'll have them set for life, basically, where they won't have to worry about things. And I'm just thinking, well, I won't even say it. For what it was, the movie did a good job of portraying it. It's like how bad off can things be for you guys? But I won't even go there. It's just a thing with me. But for what the movie, for the situation that these two are in, that the movie, the story forms for you, it was good. It's just hilarious watching her the whole movie. Ortega, the beautiful Jenna Ortega, doing research. She's traumatized by them hitting the baby unicorn. You don't realize it's a baby right away until a little ways into the movie, when she has her moment when she's emotional and just feeling. That there are certain things in this movie that are predictable. That was kind of one of them. It's like this is going to be a story where this creature has mystical powers or whatever. It can sense someone who actually has empathy, some sympathy, uh, an innocence, someone of a of a non-threatening or pure virtue. They say that in the movie. She's a virtuous maiden, in keeping with the medieval uh, imagery that she found when she researched. And that was a freaky moment in the movie when she's looking at her phone and realizing that these stained glass windows where they visited Europe or whatever when her mother was still alive, when you're thinking, oh no, this is a stalker movie. The unicorns are stalking her and her family because she looks behind her in one of her photos on her phone and it's a unicorn and you're like, oh, it was kind of a shudder moment. You just do a full body quiver like, oh man, what's going on? It's freaky. It's kind of creepy. And it's one of the it's basically the impetus for her to just continue researching and to find out what's the connection, what's going on. And so she does. She finds out all this stuff. But it's interesting because at the end of the movie, it's like she doesn't really know the rules of what's going on and how this system, this repeating cycle of unicorn activity throughout history works. When she's like, they're gonna kill us anyway. Why would they do this? What do they want? It's like she's at a loss, and that was a neat moment because I didn't see that coming. But when you see a unicorn make like it's gonna make friendly with you, and then it completely impales Richard E. Grant very quickly. It's not giving me, oh, he's got the horn all the way from his through his brain, and then they throw him down. It's like the unicorns look good. I give it that. They have it. It wasn't like the spirally unicorn horn that you might see, similar to what some of those gazelles or whatever over in the African plains have. They actually had like a rigid look to it that was just, it looked good. The CGI and when the unicorns are running through the house at the end, that stuff looked good and it looked scary. It's like wow, whoa, run. So yeah, I'm kind of running out of steam here, but I was thinking I would just try and get a few thoughts in for this review. I think what I'll do is shut down for now and pick up again tomorrow because it's now 2:11 a.m. and I really need to go to sleep. So I think I'll sleep on it and come back with some closing thoughts tomorrow for this review. Well, see you then. Okay, and I'm back again, folks. This time I've managed to dig in and find my death of a death of a U ticket stub from AMC. Again, this is the Journals channel, so I always like to give the time and date, even though I'm halfway through this review. It was Sunday, the 13th of April,
And again, I saw the 10 a.m. showing. Didn't get out till real late, and that's why I was so tired trying to get that review done. But here I am a few days later, and I have been ill since that time also. So please pardon my voice. Please pardon the crackling you hear with the dying fan in the laptop and also the big fan to keep me from sweating here in South Mississippi summer that's now kicked off. But let me just get a few final thoughts out about Death of a Unicorn, and not to sound completely different than when I well, how can I not sound completely different? It's been a week since I last made that first part of the review, and I know nobody else in the world puts up movie reviews quite like this fragmented mess. But yeah, it is what it is. I wanted to just not so much tell the whole movie the way I do a lot of times, but rather just really get something off my chest about the way I become kind of haunted by movies. This has always been the case with me, but I told my mom last night, I just looked at her and said, you know what? Maybe I just shouldn't watch movies. And she looked at me and she said, maybe you shouldn't. Just kind of play it into to what I was getting at, because she and I watched Warfare. I know this has nothing to do with Death of a Unicorn, but it actually does. Last Monday night together down at the Grand in Hattiesburg, that movie theater, and that has a particularly haunting, not necessarily ending, but the ending credits, the way it looks, and the whole style of that movie. It was also put out by A24, just like this movie was. And while I had just been so done with A24, if there's enough into a trailer or to a concept that'll draw me into a movie, I guess any studio can get me back and have me watch their movies. And here I have watched two A24 movies in the movie theater on the big screen, and I enjoyed both of them. And both of them left me with this kind of not uneasy feeling, but this kind of it was memorable, and that's why I used the word haunting. I guess it was memorable, and now applying that here to Death of a Unicorn, I sat there watching this movie, and I ultimately became invested in these two characters in particular, not just Ridley, the beautiful Jenna Ortega's character, but also Paul Rudd's character, Elliot, thinking, is he gonna come around? Is he gonna really ever get it? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna get his focus right and just believe his daughter completely, and maybe just they'll just exit themselves, secretly escape from this weird, wild scenario with this unicorn that he ran over and bashed. How did he made? They made a comedic moment out of that. I bashed its brains out of pity or something like that. When after Ortega's character there, and the beautiful Jenna Ortega, Ridley, had the horn, and she was taken to the universe unicorn birthplace, whatever it's supposed to be in the movie. This mystical thing, and she's kind of in a trance. He had a baseball bat, I think it was, or was it the oh dear, some kind of bar, a crowbar looking thing, and was beating the unicorn's head in. And you didn't realize at that part of the movie that that was actually just a juvenile. It's a baby unicorn that they had in their um, back of their SUV or whatever that thing was, Jeep, um, whatever kind of vehicle it was. And but it never happened until the very end. Paul Rudd's character did come around, and just to give a quick purview, again, spoiler alert of the film. I'm looking at the cast one more time here on IMDb, and I got to say something about the character Griff, played by Anthony Carrigan. He was the only one who, outside of the two leads, uh, uh, Paul Rudd and the beautiful Jenna Ortega, who you kind of felt for. It's like he's the butler, he's the servant, he's the almost like an indentured servant. It seems like the things they have this man do, especially after people have started being killed by the unicorns, and they make him go outside to try and open a gate. He's like, "This is not cool. You all know this is not cool." The only one who kind of feels for him is the beautiful Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd's character. That they still have their wits about him a little bit. Maybe Paul Rudd not as much, but his character just became hilarious. Paul Rudd's character is like, dude, you know better than to just keep giving in to these people for the sake of this job you think you're gonna have. But especially after the boss is impaled through his throat by one of the unicorns, that the dream job opportunity starts to diminish. Let me see if I can't pause this. Okay, and I think I'm recording again. Where was I? I even have my little sign that says streaming recording on the door, and people still want to try and whatever. Yeah, the character Griff was memorable. His look, uh, he's bald in this, looking looking just kind of odd and just kind of, I'm not going to say lurch like the Adams Family, but some kind of just unique character, and it went well with with the standout that his character was in terms of how he was treated. He's memorable in this uh, film, and I also want to say that Dr. Bhatia, played by Sunita Mani, I think that's how you say her name, but I'm probably getting that wrong. From the crazy "Turn Down for What" music video, she was also memorable. Tia Leone's character Belinda was Leopold. The Leopold family was, I want to say, hilarious in this movie, but it was in a weird, evil way. She wasn't maybe as bad as her husband was, but at the end, this is a neat tale. This movie, it really is. When you look at the character, this is the family dynamic. Her son Shepard, played by Will Poulter, who was in Warfare. I couldn't believe it. I just I haven't seen this guy before, and now I've seen him in two movies at the movie theater back to back. I know he's been in films. I never saw him though. Will Porter's character, oh my goodness, Shepard. The scene where this is the ending of the film, right? The unicorn has killed everybody except our two leads and the two remaining Leopolds, mother and son. Tia Leone's character and Will Porter's character. Belinda and Shepard are held up in one part of the house where there was a pool table. No, it was outside of the pool table. They were in like a library, and I knew this was going to happen. If you've seen enough movies, you see how tense things get. You know how the scenes are set up, the style of the way the camera, where the camera is and where the actors are, and you're like, oh no, she's about to get killed. She's about to get her head bitten off or some such thing by the unicorn through the wall or something. No, it impaled her through her, not her heart, but almost like a shoulder. And so it drug her through the wall, and she's being eaten. Uh, she's screaming for Shepard, help, help. And Shepard gets they had talked about what they might do, how they might kill it. And Shepard, this is why I say it's a neat tale. What Shepard does in the end. Shepard, you think he loves his mother. Surely he loves his mother. He's going to help his mother. And there's this really horrible moment when he gets up on the balcony. They had talked about maybe we could blow it up with this oxygen tank that was his father's before his father, being regenerated by the unicorn blood, didn't need the oxygen machine anymore or his walker. And so the oxygen tank is still there. And it was on the table. Shepard has a arrow because I guess he does some bow, some bow and arrow target practice, target sporting, and he has like a something on it. It's on fire basically. What do you have? A coal or what was that from the fireplace? I don't know. I couldn't remember. He's up on this balcony. The unicorn doesn't know he's there. She does. The unicorn has bitten her stomach, and you're thinking, is he going to save her? Is he not? But Tia Leone's character does this thing where he's like, just do it, kill it. Like she knows she's going to die because of what the damage the unicorn has done to her. And he's almost like on the verge of tears up on the balcony. Shepard is, and he's going to shoot it into the oxygen tank when you, you remember their conversations that they had just before about, listen, I want to harvest thing for everything. He is even worse than his parents, and that's why this is a neat tale. It's like there is no love in this family. You think there is, maybe, because surely no, there's not. There's not. It's only greed and the lust for power, and to be the number one unicorn blood cure purveyor in the world. That's all that he has in his mind, to be maybe the most powerful person in the world for all. We think we've cured cancer here because we got this unicorn blood. And he does this thing where he's like, forgive me. And then he just turns away and he runs. It was such a tense moment, such a extreme moment. And then you see Tia Leone on the the unicorn had bit her stomach, and it's the most gory thing. Well, I'll say it's the most gory. You see her intestines and stuff and whatnot, but you see the unicorn tear a couple other people apart in this movie in a really sudden and over, not true blue horror movie. It's still in that horror comedy fashion. Don't ask me to explain what that means and how they do it. The feel and tone of the movie does it perfectly, though. It's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, and you see the expressions on other characters' faces where Dr. Bodia's character, for instance, when you're thinking, well, surely these unicorns, these in this fantasy tale, surely they have some kind of instinct where they know she means them no harm, similar to the beautiful Jenna Ortega, the virtuous young woman who at the end they do pose no threat to her, because that connection that you have with them and stuff. They tear Dr. Badia apart crazy style, just like everybody else. The only one who doesn't get killed like that is Anthony Kerrigan. I'm sorry, it's Griff. It's Griff's character, the help. He doesn't get beaten up quite like that. He doesn't get torn apart by these unicorns. But unfortunately, yeah, it's just a weird thing what happens to him and everybody in the end. You see the finale of Paul Rudd's character coming to grips with what he's done and where he's been through, and it was actually a decent scene. And here I am, maybe not wanting to really give the movie that much credit, but but when you watch it through, you have to, and that's what makes it so good, When you see him turn around they're up in the upper room of the house, and the unicorns are breaking through the doors, because these creatures, think about it, they are strong enough to break through a wall that's not complete stone there, and they're small enough to get through the door of your house. It's kind of scary, especially if they have a big horn at a unicorn. um he oh boy, he does this speech to Ridley, saying, I know this is my fault, and he's trying to finally just get through to his daughter, and he finally does, and she allows him to finally get through to her about why he does what he does, why he's behaved this way. It's because I told her. He basically connects all this to her mother. It's like he's trying to fulfill his word to her mother, who was his wife, and he's messed up, and he knows he's messed up, and it's cost him everything now. So there's a great like hug scene, and I love you, and she doesn't want him to go out there, but he does, and he's got the horn that they had cut off because they've gotten to the point in the film and the story that she had told him, really had told him, only one is there. Or did they know that at that point? They wanted their baby back. That's what Ridley had been trying to tell them for half the movie. But these big unicorns that showed up, this male and female. I'm trying to think, how did they get away with that special effect? Because at one point you see this huge black unicorn. I think they got away in the film, now that I think about it, with trying to indicate that there were multiple, even more than two, that is, unicorns running around in the woods, especially when Paul Rudd went out like a crazy person with, by then, the demented rich, impossible person to deal with who was going to be his boss. I can't believe I can't find anything that guy's played in, because I know I've seen him, and now I'll never forget him. Uh, he just had I'm talking about uh, Odell Leopold, played by Richard E. Grant, who now he's one of these actors who he has that look in him now where maybe I've seen clips of him from shorts or something, or from I don't want to get sidetracked again. Um, Paul Rudd runs away, and you don't see what's happened. Ridley gets down into the bottom of the house and outside. Unicorns after her. She gets to a place where she can't run anymore. She's not going to run. I'm trying to remember what happened with Shepard, because I know in the end, it's been a week since I saw the movie. He's outside laying a trap. That's right. He laid a trap. I knew this would work. I knew this would work because you're the virtuous young maiden, and you're gonna bring him to me. Yeah, that's right. He like held her at like arrow point because he had the bow and arrow still that he didn't use to try and help his mother at all. And so he hid while he made her be still. And the unicorn came out, and that's where you see the image like from the poster with her like and the snot flying as the unicorn's screaming at her. And then it just gently lays down at the feet, at the lap, basically, of the virtuous young woman, Ridley, and she like caresses it and touches it, and then and Shepard, he's back there like, I knew it, I knew it. He's so crazy. Shepard's character is just a card, and evil. I didn't realize right away that he had the makings of the most evil one. Early on in the movie, you're thinking, this is a rich kid he's kind of stuck up, and he's all in it for himself. But that's the seeds of it, isn't it? Of how bad he could go. But after his father's gone, and he's not. What did he say at one point in the movie? They interrupted him with some uh, noise or something, and it's just one of several things that happened very quickly. But I remember him saying, "What's going on out here? I was mourning in there." Like, I was mourning in there, mourning the loss of my father. And it's played off for nothing. It's just one comedic thing after another in that part of the movie. But yeah, he had threatened to kill Ridley at that point because all that matters to him is the money and power that he thinks he's going to have once he has a monopoly in his mind on the unicorn blood. Unicorn, like, I want to farm these. I want to farm these things. Like, how do you think you're going to do that, fella? It was entertaining as all get out to see him in that character and completely carried away, with what he was after at that point. But then you see Paul Rudd's character coming back and Ridley can't believe it. Like, and he's got the horn, and the unicorn isn't chasing him down, he's just leading it back. And you're thinking, what happened here? And it's all about that horn. Didn't really show what happened, but you get the idea that somehow he had Elliot had somehow calmed the unicorn and was leading him back. And what had happened? Did he shoot? He shot. Yeah. Shepard went to kill these unicorns. The one with Ortega and the one with Elliot. And Elliot goes over. It's such a strange, intense moment in the movie. This is the end of the movie when Elliot goes over there and he just straight up tries to end Shepard because of what he's doing, because of what he's done, and what he was basically indicating he would do to Ridley. And just like that, just like as a you wasn't really expecting it, I don't think, but really, why not? Why wouldn't you expect it? Shepard pokes Elliot right back, and like in his heart, somewhere in the heart region over here, with his arrow that he still got, and Elliot had gotten him with the horn, I guess, or something. Can't even recall. All I remember is, again, it's the very ending of the film now that's mostly in my mind. Everything else is just a blur. Just craziness. There's a really neat scene in this death scene with Ridley and Elliot as he's dying, and you're like, oh no, he like redeemed himself, but after all that he had been willing to go along with in trying to do what he thought he was supposed to do in his mind with these people, instead of just extricating himself and his daughter from this situation. It's like he meant well, but it all blew up in his face, kind of a thing, with Elliot, and he's lying there dying, and then there's this great moment with him and Ridley as she tells him what she saw with the unicorn, and with what the unicorn showed her, and when she touched the horn and all that, and it was about his wife, her mother, and there's this connection back to his wife and Ridley's mother that it's actually I hadn't thought of this until just this moment, but male and female unicorn, baby unicorn got run over, and now these two, this man, this woman, their daughter. I hadn't thought about that parallelism, whatever, until just now. Of Paul Rudd's character, his wife, who's deceased throughout the whole movie. You only see her in a picture. The beautiful Jenna Ortega's character, Ridley, their daughter. They ran over this baby unicorn, and the other two are the parents. So it's like a family and a family kind of a thing. I hadn't thought about that until just now, but yeah, it's a neat death scene with him, and the beautiful Jenna Ortega can cry. I'm watching this scene. I'm thinking, it was one of those. It kind of shoots right out, but she did it. I'm like, oh my goodness, she can cry. That's an actress right there. That's an actress. And she has this great speech, and then he dies, and it's the unicorn horn or whatever that basically brings him back. And this happens at such a neatly done. It's not. I actually have to take time to praise this right now, because there are some movies that get so ahead of themselves with the goofiness that this would have been done in like half the speed. So I got to stop and actually praise this movie for that. That everything was given so much time to breathe in that last scenario, horror comedy or not. Everything was given time to breathe at the end. You know what happened, and they didn't make a joke about every single thing. So I got to give props again to this film. Um, he comes back to life, and Shepard has his second win where he's like, when the unicorns are waking up again, things happen, and I remember they did have enough time to breathe, but so many things happen that I'm having trouble remembering the exact sequence. When the unicorn comes back to life and just looks at him, and he's just like, "Uh-oh." You've seen all these YouTube videos where an unfortunate little barnyard friend is too close to a horse who is either having a twitch or sees him and kicks. The power of these kicks. Well, he's dead. Shepard is dead. This unicorn kicks his fractures his skull, and so then there's Shepard flung backwards about 20 feet, and he's right there in the camera, deceased. So that's the end of Shepard. He let his lust for power and greed get ahead of him and get him killed in that instance. And again, it was all about that horn that they cut off from the baby unicorn, and they restored it to the baby unicorn. The baby unicorn is back to life. The parents are back to life. Paul Rudd's back to life. And then at the emotional moment between him and Ridley, the whole family of unicorns runs away. And they're looking at the aftermath of things as Griff shows up with the popo, not having known all that stuff happened. And all of a sudden, you see I'm like, oh, that's what that's about. The clip from the trailer when the beautiful Jenna Ortega is going like, she goes like this, like, like they instantly realize what this looks like, and the cops are taking them in for questioning. Now that's the next scene. They think they killed Shepard, and uh, all these uh, all these other people, I guess. So they're taking him in for questioning about murder because again, the unicorns are gone. But you would think that Griff would put in some kind of a good word for him, but he is driving behind the cop car, and so it kind of casts kind of a sad light on him that he would that he would do that. Surely he thought that the unicorns did all this horribleness, and not these two survivors. But this is the ending of the film, and this is what it doesn't bug me because it's very A24, and I'll just say it. It's very A24. The ending of this film, and what happens when Elliot and Ridley are in the back of that car, and father says to daughter, I'm gonna get them mixed up what they said about you know what it shows you and where you went because you see the same cinematic, the same cosmos, whatever outer space looking nebulous thing, this fantastic stars of the universe vision that Ridley had Elliot had when the unicorn touched him and ultimately brought him back to life there. Um, and the connection between both of them and her mother, his wife, and how now Ridley says to Elliot, or did Elliot say to Ridley? I wish I could remember now. Like I saw it too, like it showed it to me too, where mom is, and who said to who, and it said and that's where we're going to be with her, and I just wish I could remember who said what to who in that, but that's what was said, that they know they love her and she's going. They're gonna go be with her there one day, and it's so beautiful, and they are a family and they should love each other and all this. Uh, but then the unicorn show up, and the cop had uh, radioed in, phoned in, and you hear the conversation that, oh, they're not just going to be checked out. These two, they're going to be treated as suspects, maybe. And you're thinking, what's going to become of these two? What kind of story is this? All of a sudden, the unicorns show up, and they run alongside the door. And at first, Elliot is thinking they are so beautiful, and surely everyone can see. Like when Griff sees the unicorns, and surely the cop sees the unicorns. It's not some crazy tale they're telling. It's it's here, and I'm thinking, oh well, this is really a great way to end the film here. This is so beautiful. They can see, just you could have ended the movie with just the cop and Griff, who's in a second car behind the cop car, seeing these unicorns in all their beautiful glory, running alongside the the car as evidence of, yeah, unicorns impale these people back here. We didn't kill them, so don't treat us like murderers. Don't arrest us. We didn't have anything to do with this. You could have just ended it there when the great music that was playing and stuff as the movie was ending. But then what happens? The unicorn just looking at Elliot, and Elliot's looking at the unicorn running right by the window. And all of a sudden, he just realizes something. He sees something else or whatever, and you're thinking, "What's going on here?" He goes, he looks at uh, Ridley, and he puts his daughter in the, not really a headlock, but like a protective position, and they kind of get down into the floorboard of the, or into the like bottom of the, like leaning forward, like maybe they're gonna have a car accident. Yeah, a car accident, and then the whole thing, the music's still playing, and there's nothing horrible about the music. It's very very A24. I'll say that. It's just they managed to actually pull out a win, in my opinion. Even though this is one of these kind of open to interpretation, strange endings, the unicorns, you realize, oh, they're going to run them off the road. And so they do. The unicorns run both of these vehicles off the road. You hear, uh, it pans away, you don't see it, but you hear car crash sounds, bad car crash sounds as the music kind of goes away. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, what happened? Did they do that so that maybe these two could escape? If they wanted them to escape, they could have done that some other way, because they're obviously very intelligent beings, these unicorns, more so than just what you would think, at least as this movie portrays it. But then you're thinking, no, maybe they just ran them off the road to, so that they would all die in a car accident. And so then you're thinking that, like that's option two. Like it's like, oh, we're going to be where mom is. And you're thinking, wow, really? To not show it like that. And even if they did show it, I'm glad they didn't. But it's like, what is it? What does it mean? And it's kind of a neat thing. Yeah, I can admit, in an artsy fartsy way, it's kind of neat. I would never make a movie like that. But I'm just sitting there in the movie theater by myself thinking, come on, what? And I wasn't upset though. I wasn't ticked off or anything. It all just flowed so well in the stylistic way they did this film, to where I was like, I get it. I get it. But then at the same time, if you want to make this kind of like allegory, this ultra interpretive. What does it all mean? It could also mean this kind of a thing or that kind of a thing. I was thinking as I was driving the truck, I drive a truck for a living this past week. I was thinking about the ending of that movie, and I thought maybe it's all just some metaphor, allegory, whatever, for them having died in the plane crash, a plane crash from the start of the movie. Maybe it could be that too. And I'm thinking, oh man. But the thing about it is, and why I started off the rest of this review, this segment of this video you're watching with these movies, they kind of haunt me when they do things like that, is you don't know, and it's left open for interpretation. And I did get invested in these two because by the end of the film, these two actors portrayed a good job. They did a good job of portraying that these two characters, the father and the daughter, they do love each other. They do care for one another. It's just they've had an interesting past, and they both lost their wife, their mother, and in the end, it's just it. The best thing I can say is it's a neat movie. It's a neat movie. I could never make it. I could never make this movie, but it was a neat flick for sure. Is there anything else I can say? Stephen Park played Dr. Song. I think he was the first to die. They kind of show his death a little bit in the trailer of the movie. Jessica Hines as Shaw. She was like this hard as nails security person, and when she goes, it's kind of dramatic in that forest, man. And I just can't get over this guy, Richard E. Grant. I hope to see him in another movie where he plays maybe a similar kind of character, because he was something else. He was very memorable. Richard E. Grant as Odell Leopold. And I guess that's all I got, folks. I guess that's all I got. Let me shut up. This has gone on way too long. But I think I finally got my appreciation for this film out into the world with this review, even if I didn't remember all the neat little the entertaining parts of the movie that I would love to quote for you and stuff like that. But it's time to end it. Thank you so much for listening to me, especially those of you who've listened to this whole thing. I don't deserve this attention, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one, folks. Take care.